We have several Riverside cases. Mr. Levine, have you got all three of those today?
Your Honor, I'm appearing on behalf of those.
I have
Okay.
one Riverside case, Riverside Estates versus Marchand.
Okay, it's wrong. Riverside Estates rather than Riverside Townhouses. I didn't make a very good note. Yes, we'll be with you in a bit.
Thank you.
But you're in the right place and you're in a timely manner. Nicole Miller drew the short straw from the Cox Law Firm and she had to come to Centerville today. So,
They know you can. Thank you for me. Oh, we're not gonna have a
all right, Mr. Garrison and Miss Leslie, you're here on a landlord tenant matter. Your landlord says that you're behind on your rent and they want you to pay the rent or move. It's called a demand for non-payment of rent. Attorney Nicole M. Miller is here on behalf of the plaintiff, and your manager, Ms. Kalmbach, is also present. We'll talk about the facts of the case in a minute, but for now, you need to know that you are a defendant in a non-payment of rent case, and you have the following legal rights. You have the right to obtain counsel for representation in this matter. If you cannot afford an attorney, a legal aid attorney may be available to help you, or you could seek other legal help. Our landlord tenant expert from legal aid should be joining us here shortly. You have a right to have the matter heard here in St. Joseph County where the property is.
Okay.
And that just goes without saying. You have the right to demand a jury trial. If you want a jury trial, you must tell the court at this appearance or make the demand in writing within 5 days of the court explaining your right to a jury trial. You can use the form MC-22 jury demand and file it with the court. You must pay a $50 fee when you make the demand within 5 days of the court explaining to you your right to jury trial. Your landlord has asked you to be evicted from residential property because you haven't paid the rent. You may be able to get assistance from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, the local coordinated entry agency in our county that is Community Action Agency, a housing assessment and resource agency in our county that's Neighborhood Inc., by Federal Help for Homeless Veterans Program if you are a veteran. These funding sources hopefully have some funding after the new fiscal year on October 1st, but they do not have a lot of money. Anyway, we sent that information to you with the packet. You do not need a judgment against you to receive help in the places listed above. Despite what the DHS keeps telling people, the copy of the summons and complaint from your case are sufficient. You've already received that. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord by going through mediation. If both parties are interested in that, we can set it up. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord that would result in a conditional order of dismissal. If both parties are interested in that, the court could help you with either finding the form or providing it. This is a claim for non-payment of rent. Rent is contended to be $149 per month. The time of filing, it was 6/30/55. Ms. Miller, what's the current arrearage?
Current, I see $698.80. I'm sorry, Your Honor, $1,007.55. Court costs are $224 for a total of $1,231.55.
1007. Give me that again.
1007.55.
Your Honor, that's including November's rent.
Oh,
Yeah, if you look at the ledger, you got to go up above there. Sorry.
All right, let's just go through October. Thank you. Yeah,
I
start
apologize,
over.
Your Honor. I didn't realize November had been added to the ledger this early. So we can deduct 130 from that. So So it's $877.80. Court costs are $224. The total would be $1,101.80. Thank you for pointing that out.
through October.
Yes.
Mr. Garrison and Miss Leslie, what do you say to that?
Okay, there's this 1 month I was missing, I lost a rent receipt. I had emailed them a bank statement where I did pay it. We do have other money order receipts showing that we did pay it. There was issues in the past where the money from the office was coming missing, but every month we've been dropping it off. I have emailed that bank statement. We were going through, we found some, but not all the rent receipts. Some
All
money
right, so
orders.
you contend, did you pay all of it or most of it?
All of it. There's like 1 or 2 months that were missing on the rent receipt. We're still trying to go through the papers to find them, but we have them. We're just trying to find them. But 1
Well,
month
have
that
you paid October's rent?
yes. We had left out of town. We dropped it off before we left.
Your Honor, I do have a payment made in October and one made in September.
That is correct. I see the same.
But previous to that, it was July that I got a payment.
So there was no payment in August and no payment in July?
No,
August and September.
There was.
Said you got an October payment and September payment. So which 2 months are delinquent?
So, Your Honor, what I'm seeing on the ledger is the last payment that they received before September goes to July 13th. But at that time, there was a $620.55.
We right here is a rent
Right,
receipt for
stop for just a minute. So at the time the July 13th payment was made, there was a 630.55 arrearage.
620.55.
All right.
And then a late fee was assessed, rent was charged again. The rent charged on October 1st, we never received a rent payment. And the rent charged on September 1st, never received a rent payment. And there are late fees in.
All right, so but you got a payment. It was just applied to an earlier month.
That's correct.
Applied to the total balance.
All right, so any payment made in September was applied to an arrearage. Any payment made in October was applied to arrearage. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. May and
How much is the monthly late fee?
It's $30. It's $20 on the 6th day of the month, and an additional 10 if it's not paid by the 15th day of the month. For no more than 30 a month.
Ms. Kalmbach, what months are they delinquent for?
Looking back at the ledger, it started back in.
Looks like it started back in January.
I have March's right here. Right there.
Yeah.
All right, well, I
see nothing March,
So-
April.
all right, no payment in March or April.
Correct.
March. Says right here, March 10th.
All right, that might have been applied to a previous month. I can't tell. So what we've got is we've got compounding. When you miss a month, they add a $30 late fee. And then when you pay January's rent in February, they apply it to January. Then you're late for February. Then when you pay February's rent in March, they apply March to February and you're delinquent for March. So this is gonna have to take some serious reconciliation of your receipts with their billing statements. We don't have legal aid here to assist in this, but I have to continue this matter at least 7 days. So let's take a look. See what's available next Monday. Oh, no. My system locked up for a minute. What you need to do is accumulate all of your receipts, go in and see Ms. Kalmbach and compare your payment receipts to their billing receipts.
I have tried, I just emailed them one, bank statement, one that, just 1 month, that's all I proof I had is my, because the issue we had was, we left town for a while. And my mom was cleaning up and she went through her papers trying to clean our apartment up a little bit. That's what she wanted to do and watch our cats. And she went through and threw away a bunch of stuff, and that's where we think some of them went to.
Have them for eight.
But we have some
Well,
for
they would have billed a bank account or something. So
You want-
next
I'm gonna-
Monday,
Go ahead.
this can't be right.
Bank account.
Because I already emailed them one bank statement for one of the months it claimed I didn't pay. I already emailed them one like statement from that went up to Walmart, did get money over for that exact amount.
I've got landlord tenant all morning, Monday morning, which is unusual. That must have been some sort of misunderstanding. Anyway, how about 2:20 on Monday, October 14th?
Okay.
What is that?
Okay.
What did anything going on?
No. No, can't forget.
Does that work for you?
Yes, Your
You know
Honor.
what? Just you don't have no
Alright.
appointments either. Just there's a lot
Now,
of
what
stuff.
I'm recommending, Mr. Garrison, is you don't do this by email. You do it face to face. And you sit down with your receipts and her billing statements and see if you can reconcile it. We can figure out what is missing. It's not overwhelming, but it's $1,001. Have you asked for any emergency help?
I've applied for DHS. I mean, I applied twice. The first time I didn't get the information back in time. The second time I applied, but they said I would have to, the amount that I'll have to put down or whatever. I'm not sure exactly how they worded it. It'll be almost the same amount, but I only told them 600, whatever it was. I didn't tell them because they need some kind of proof of exactly how much it is, and I don't have proof of that much.
Well, in order to cure this, you have to pay the entire amount. So let's assume they're right. Let's assume that you owe $1,101.80 through October. I'm going to give you 10 days from next Monday, October 14th, to pay that, or you're subject to being evicted. And then a few days later, November's rent will be due. So this is imminent. So I suggest that you meet with Ms. Kalmbach and see if you can figure out the number. I trust her figures more than yours. Also, I would suggest that you contact DHS, Neighborhood Inc., or some other funding agency to see if you can get an emergency assistance. Otherwise, on the 24th of October, you could be subject to being evicted the next day. So we're gonna revisit this next. Go ahead.
As far as the evicting thing, don't they legally have to do a 30-day notice for that part?
Oh, that ship sailed a long time ago. They gave you a 30-day notice. Back in the summer.
That's probably when we were not home. My mom was there, which we weren't even in the state.
So that one he could go with me, but that one.
Well, that's
that
on
one,
you,
I
not
want that.
them. They're not
Yeah.
clairvoyant.
Because
That
we
one
are
had to
actually
move this
planning on
one,
moving
and I
out
want
very
that one.
soon. As it is, we're
Well, if you do move, you need to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of your moving.
Okay. When I
Again, let your manager know what your plans are.
yeah, we don't have an exact date yet, but it's gonna be soon. We were told to give a 30-day
Well,
notice.
I'm gonna give you an exact date at some point, and it's likely to be October 24th.
Okay.
So keep that date in mind. All right, I'll see you next Monday. If you move out by next Monday, we don't need to have a hearing. There may be a later hearing regarding money damages, but possession will not be at issue.
Okay. Now,
All right.
okay, here's one issue I wanna like try to see what we do about the damages. There was some damage we reported from, cause I used to live with my mom, but then I moved out and she had an apartment. We're visiting a couple times. She like punched a hole through the bedroom door. They puttied it up. They still haven't yet painted it. The screen window still has been replaced. So that's like damage that we didn't do. That
So
was,
is this in your unit or a different unit?
this is in our unit. My mom used to
All
live
right,
there.
well, we'll visit that at a different time. They may never even seek money damages. Right now, they want you to pay the rent or move. All right, we'll visit this next Monday at 2:20.
Okay, so the
thank
person we have right now, do we take that in the office and sit down with them?
Yes, that's still my recommendation.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Your Honor. And is Jasmine Coffee here? Do you know?
No, she's not. I'll check with the bailiffs. I'm looking for a Jasmine Coffee. All right, thank you. Mr. Levine, if you were in my courtroom, I'd ask you to take the gum out of your mouth. That doesn't look good on screen either. All right, Jasmine Coffee is not present, so let's talk about that case. Riverside Townhouses versus Jasmine Coffee. This is filed as a demand for non-payment of rent. The defendant was personally served. She is not here. Once again, Nicole Miller is here for the Cox Law Firm, and their manager, Ms. Kalmbach, is here. What's the status here?
Your Honor, she still owes rent. We have rent to retain in the amount of $698.80. Court costs are $185 for a total of $883.80. We'd be asking for a written date of 10/17.
Is that through October?
Yes.
All right, she is not here. The bailiffs do a great job of checking the hall. The matter was set for 1:30. It's 1:34. Very often people will come rolling in at sometime that's convenient for them. The complaint for non-payment of rent shows rent is zero. So, and payable on blank date. Total rent $569.84, and now it's $698. What is the current rental rate? Because the complaint didn't reflect it.
Yes, Your Honor. The current rental rate is, looks like it's $500 a month.
It is not. She came in and recertified for job loss. So it went down to 0.
Oh, okay.
This is back rent and late fees, and she has had the gas in her name for a number of months, which is also a lease violation.
Have you got a gas bill that attaches to this also?
Let
I
me-
have copies of all the gas bills I can
But
send.
they're
them.
not part of this request?
I believe some of the gas is added into this amount. Yes, sir.
Your Honor, do you have a copy of the ledger in your possession?
Do I?
Yeah,
No, as a rule, I don't.
okay.
So, Ms. Kalmbach, if somebody could help me, how much of this is rent? How much is late fees and how much is utilities?
Your Honor, we're gonna have to do that calculation. A lot of it is lumped up together on the ledger. This is just a recurring balance. It's never really been brought current. Unless Ms. Kalmbach, you would like to correct me on that. It doesn't look like per this ledger, it's ever been current.
No, it just keeps accumulating.
Yeah, and she's made payments here and there in the beginning, looks like, but if you would like me to, do you want me to forward you the ledger to a court email address, Your Honor? I just feel like it'd be,
No, I don't want to figure it out. I want someone to tell me what it is. But at least tell me how much is rent and how much is utilities, because the defendants always, was like, well, what is this? They get a lump sum. I don't know how much is rent. I paid my rent. How much is utilities? I learned the gas bills are rolled into this. It just says rent.
okay,
you tell
that's
me
fine, Your Honor.
that?
I can do that calculation, no problem. How would you like me to address payments made though? So with that total balance, I can calculate, you know what I mean? I can calculate how much rent and how much utilities have been, but there have been payments made, so I don't know. I don't want to be incorrect in what I tell you.
So it's all lumped together. What she pays goes against the whole total. Well, and she isn't here to argue about it. She's subject to default. If legal aid were here, they would ask those questions on her behalf, but they're not here either. All right, I will, let me see, I don't have a judgment.
I can submit one to the court after this very shortly, Your
All
Honor.
right, well, all right, 698.50 through October
698.80, but
80, excuse me, everything had 80. 185, so 883.80 payments made on lump sum total. Yes, our email address is 3bcivil@stjosephcountymi.org.
county is spelled out in full,
Yes, COUNTY.
.org. I apologize, Your Honor. So it's 3bcivil@stjosephcounty.org.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
85399. All right, Miss Coffee was served with this personally, so she is subject to default. All right, that finishes Riverside Townhouses.
Thank
And
you, Your
we'll
Honor.
now
I'll send that
Take
in
up
for signature.
Riverside Estates. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, we've got Riverside Estates and we got Hannah McNeese. Who's here on some other matters. I haven't seen her since this morning. Mr. Levine, thank you for your patience. Let's talk about your case.
Good.
It's entitled Riverside Estates versus Sarah and Timothy Marchand. They are not present. They were both personally served. Timothy Marchand was in my courtroom this morning at about 11 o'clock. And I didn't mention this. They were both personally served. This is a demand for non-payment of rent. It's substantial. What's the current arrearage?
Our arrearage is $8,419. $2.98 plus costs. I'm showing costs at $268.24 for a total redemptive amount of $8,688.22.
The manager's lurking in the background. Are they still living there?
They did voluntarily leave the premises towards the end of August.
All right. Well, if I'd known what was what, I would have asked him about it when he was here, but all right, they may have left property there, so let's just go with a 10-day default.
It's for possession only. And
Yes.
that was our request in our complaint. And I would,
Well, they have until October 17th to pay or appeal that amount. That's the writ date, 10/17.
would you like me to
Again,
submit a
let me give
judgment?
you, yes, please. 3B civil at stjosephcountymi.org.
County, there's an MI and then at or .org. Got it.
Yes,
Thank
it's a cumbersome email.
It is sure.
ST Joseph, COUNTY.mi.org.
Got it. 3B civil. Okay. I'll send it in shortly.
All right, thanks for your patience. You got to sit through somebody else's travails, but it sounds like they vacated. I don't know what their new address is, but
Yeah.
this should not be problematic.
Okay. Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you.
Nice day.
Thanks. All right, now we've got some general civil matters which are set for 1:45 before we transition back to landlord tenant matters. Wait 2 minutes. I do have an order in here, so thank you for that.
Of course.
They don't always send one, but it's helpful when there is one in here.
Try to make it easy.
Thank you. Well, let's call the case. This is Portfolio Recovery Associates LLC versus Marlene Diefendahl. Hannah McNeese is here on behalf of the plaintiff, on behalf of Weber and Olsees. She's been sitting around, lounging around all day since I saw her this morning, having a leisurely Monday. I'm sure she's been very busy between then and now. This is a claim. I just disorganized my file. For $1,282.47 plus cost the amount of $153 for a total judgment of $1,000 435.47. The plaintiff did file a brief and motion for summary disposition. Give me just a moment here. I'll get the, I couldn't put my finger on the answer. They had trouble serving her. She was served. She filed an answer. I'm on Social Security disability and my income, I can pay some. And that's it. And that doesn't state a defense. And there is no material issue of fact. And she's not here. I grant summary disposition for the plaintiff in the amount stated, 1,282.47 and court costs of 153. If you add that up, it adds to 1,435.47. All right, Ms. McNeese, you're 2 for 2 or 3 for 3 or whatever we had this morning. In this case, the defendant didn't show up, but as you know, there are lots of people out there struggling with
Yes.
consumer debt. This one isn't huge, but if you don't have any money, it's huge. At
Sure.
any rate, you've got the judgment. She says she's willing to pay something. Perhaps something can be worked out. But I've entered the judgment for your client in that amount. And thank you for your patience also.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Have a great week.
All right, we're working on it. Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, that's an awful fat file for $1,400. All right, our next hearing is some small claims matters at 3 o'clock. We have a couple of discovery hearings and then some trials, and then we have another landlord tenant matter at 3:30. So we have a bit of a break to get caught up, so we'll be back at 3 o'clock. I think we had more cases set today that resolved. She filed an answer. I'm on Social Security disability and my income, I can pay some. And that's it. And that doesn't state a defense. And there is no material issue of fact. And she's not here. I grant summary disposition for the plaintiff in the amount stated, 1,282.47 and court costs of 153. If you add that up, it adds to 1,435.47. All right, Ms. McNeese, you're 2 for 2 or 3 for 3 or whatever we had this morning. In this case, the defendant didn't show up, but as you know, there are lots of people out there struggling with
Yeah.
consumer debt. This one isn't huge, but if you don't have any money, it's huge. At
Sure.
any rate, you've got the judgment. She says she's willing to pay something. Perhaps something can be worked out. But I've entered the judgment for your client in that amount. And thank you for your patience also.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Have a great week.
All right, we're working on it. Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
All right, that's an awful fat file for $1,400. All right, our next hearing is some small claims matters at 3 o'clock. We have a couple of discovery hearings and then some trials, and then we have another landlord tenant matter at 3:30. So we have a bit of a break to get caught up, so we'll be back at 3 o'clock. I think we had more cases set today that resolved.
Reinitiated by the defendant, that actually happened, and we have the proof here to show it to the court.
Well, based upon what you've argued so far, and that in this particular circumstance,